2007-ish, and you work for the marketing department of a deodorant company. Other companies' deodorant has more of a reputation than yours, and other companies have cooler marketing than you, so what can you do to boost sales? How about marketing to the gamers? Yeah, that's the origin of Extreme Pamplona. This game is an advert for a deodorant company. Now, when I played this game as a young kid, I didn't know that, even though the game isn't the most subtle about it. There's a Shaw Men logo on the main menu, and the Pamplona runner sprays himself with deodorant on the loading screens. I wouldn't be surprised if he was wearing white, not just because he's at the running of the bulls in Pamplona, which I remind you is a real thing that happens every summer, but because his deodorant is so good that he can wear white without it staining underneath his arms. Oh, yeah, that's what this game is about. Far from being anything to do with deodorant, Extreme Pamplona is about running away from a bull and trying not to get gored, which does sadly sometimes happen at the real event. That's definitely a lot more interesting than just collecting the product that's being advertised like you do in a lot of advert games. However, I do wonder if the game actually convinced anyone to switch their preferred brand of deodorant to Shaw. I certainly didn't. But that's enough about deodorant. What about the game? Well, firstly, it looks really good. There's a real grungy urban meets comic book look to the title screen with the thick black outlines and the dirty speckled pattern. Although the flashing, jittery text looks like someone hasn't plugged the computer into the mains properly, or like we're playing the game on the camera Obscura from Fatal Frame. In the game, the runner has really smooth animation, although I'm not sure whether that comes across as well in 30 frames a second. There's some cool little details, like the fact that he turns his head, presumably because he wants to be damn sure that the thing chasing him is, in fact, a bull. And this 3D model of him that shows up between levels is pretty impressive for a Flash game from 2007. Even if he looks a little bit like Tycho from Penny Arcade.
Yeah.
And even though there's not exactly loads of gameplay to Extreme Pamplona, you outrun the thing chasing you and then you go to the next stage, it does have some replay value. There's the time-honoured tradition of the time trial. Your whole run is timed, so there's some fun to be had in trying to beat your score. However, there's something more interesting than that going on. Instead of a linear level structure, Extreme Pamplona has branching paths, so you'll only get to pick 3 countries per run. Although you'll always start and end in Pamplona, you'll run down roads all across Europe, from the chimney pots of Moscow to the girders of London. Pamplona's the one that's had the most love put into it. It is the game in the title, after all, as the obstacles are mostly specific things relevant to the encierro, like guys wearing big heads and places selling meat, whereas the other countries tend to fall back on stereotypes. Not that there's anything xenophobic going on here, the stereotypes are all pretty harmless. For example, rather than a bull, the runner is chased by a woman with tankards in Germany, a Cossack in Russia, a Bobby in the UK, and a, Am I allowed to say this on YouTube? What do you mean you don't know? This lady of ill repute in the Netherlands. Playing the game is easy. Take a look at the instructions. This really is all you need to know. That is, unless you're in Switzerland. Switzerland could be a bit tricky for first-time players. The basic concept is the same. Go right, don't let your pursuer catch you and avoid the obstacles. Only this time, instead of running, you're riding a snowboard. As well as having obstacles to jump over, there's also these quarter-pipe ramps that you have to jump off of, and these rails to grind on. It's nothing complicated, but it's unique. However, despite only being a few controls away from being a different game entirely, Switzerland is not the hardest level in the game. Welcome to Sweden. This level is really frustrating. If you're speedrunning the game, do not choose to go to Sweden, just stay away from Sweden entirely. Sweden slows down the game's pace to a crawl, and it brings in precision platforming. Compared to the rest of the game where you'll rarely take your finger off the right arrow, Sweden is just a real pain to get through. You can't jump up to these pillars from the water, but if you backtrack you'll be caught by Sweden's bull equivalent, this towel-clad guy who looks like if Asterix and Obelix did the fusion dance. Sweden is also the only level where the obstacles can make you change direction, so a mistimed jump can send you pinging all around the place like you're in a pachinko machine. You can tell this is serious because I'm using the music from Castlevania rather than the music for this game. And the upper floors are a real pain as well. Mistime a jump here and you'll fall all the way back down to the pillars again. It's not the only level that does something like this. Russia has something like this as well. But to have the level where the platform is at its most precise, and it's the only level where obstacles can send you backwards, also be one of just 2 levels where you can lose progress and have to do the same section over and over again, is just really frustrating. However, at least you get to see a bit of culture. Saunas are a big thing in Sweden, just as much as barges are in the Netherlands, Oktoberfest is in Germany, and building sites are in the UK. And the presence of a little bit of culture means that Extreme Pamplona could actually teach you something. No, it's not a deep dive or anything, but the game takes its theme of travelling across Europe and it runs with it, like a big black bull down the Calle de Santo Domingo. Apologies to any Spanish people in the audience, please leave your angry messages in the comments below. Extreme Pamplona. Fun game, fun theme, fun little time waster. And it really punches above its weight for an advert game. It could have been a heck of a lot worse.